Beyond Synth 361.
You're listening to Beyond Synth Radio. B008.5.
Up next, Andy Last has fun chats with awesome synthwave artists. It's time for Beyond Synth.
Hey there, welcome to the show. My name is Andy Last, and this is Beyond Synth. On today's show, I am going to be chatting with Dreamkid. And if you don't know who Dreamkid is, then you do not have TikTok or Instagram, because he popped on the scene and then his account exploded. The algorithm loved him, which is pretty exciting because I haven't seen that really happen in the synthwave scene before in this sort of way. So it was interesting to talk to him, and he's a cool guy, and we'll get to that in just a second. Now, you know that if you enjoy the show, you can support it on Patreon at patreon.com/BeyondSynth, and we have a new patron this week. That is correct. In the $10 club, we're talking about Matt Oxner. Thanks, dude. Matt Oxner's a cool guy. I recognize that name. Wait, weren't you a patron years ago? We've talked before. It's been several years though, right? My memory is horrible. Matt, let me know. Did we once chat? Were you once at the Toronto airport or something? Did that happen? Was that you? Was that 8 years ago or something? Anyway, listen, the point is this. Thank you for supporting this show. And I would also like to thank Chris Michael OGRE. I hope I'm saying that correctly. OGRE? Chris Michael OGRE. You let me know if I'm saying it properly. But he just sent in a very lovely gift via PayPal. You can also support the show on PayPal. And he sent some support. Very generous, Chris. Thank you very much. And he says, appreciate you repping the synthwave scene. Big fan of the new season. Was skeptical when you mentioned the change coming. You are killing it. Keep it up. Also sent you an email asking what your end credits song was called, and that I liked the intro song by OGRE. The irony that it was End Credits 3 by OGRE, LOL. I had tried to Shazam it, but normally never got a hit. I did get a hit one time, End Credits by OGRE. I quickly Googled it up and went to his Bandcamp, and then I'm like, what the fuck? Not it. Didn't realize he has multiple releases called End Credits. Hilarious. Fucking artists. Cheers, Andy. Thanks for the laughs and great music. Chris O. from Campbell River, BC. Hey, that's cool. Fellow Canadian. Anyways, listen, I really appreciate your support, dude. Very generous of you. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. And on that note, let's go chat with Dreamkid. So let's listen to a track. Dreamkid just put out a new single days ago called Streetlights. So let's listen to Streetlights by Dreamkid, and then when the song is finished, I will be chatting with Dreamkid. So this is Dreamkid with Streetlights.
Just
right, and I'm here right now with Dreamkid, aka Ryan. How's it going, man?
Hello, good, thanks, and you?
I'm okay. How are you today?
Why okay? It's the Easter weekend, you should be happy, no?
Yeah, I just got back from the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, was it disappointing?
It was fine.
Okay.
Well, it's hard to explain. It's literally like a movie that, it's not bad, like it was good.
Yeah.
It's just that it did exactly what it needed to do and nothing more.
Nothing more, yeah.
So it's weird. It's like coming out of the theater, I wasn't like filled with joy or happiness or excitement. It was just sort of like,
Okay, cool.
yeah, it had all like the little nostalgic things in there.
Yeah.
It didn't reach any heights of like creativity or anything. Like there was nothing surprising that they did. It was sort of just, it was fine. Like it was fine.
Yeah. Like they did the job, but that was it. Just to the brief and nothing more.
Yes, exactly. It was like a committee just said, here's the things we have to do. And they did all of those things well.
Yeah.
But there was nothing also that really annoyed me either. Like often when I see movies like these kind of family animated films, there's a lot of stuff in there that annoys me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't annoyed. Like I enjoyed watching it. It's just, you know, when you come out of a movie and you know, even like if it's a blockbuster film and there's at least like there's some cool moments where if someone said to you like, what was your favorite part?
It made you feel something cool and you're like, that made me a little kind of fuzzy feeling in that part. And
Yeah,
so,
like,
yeah.
You know, I remember, you know, coming out of the theater after seeing like The Dark Knight, and if someone was like, you know, what was your favorite part? I'm like, oh, you know, when fucking Joker's like driving at Batman with the fucking truck, and then Batman toe cables it and flips the truck, and then he flipped up on his bike and did that spin.
Yeah.
And this movie doesn't really have any of that. It's just all fine.
That kind of sucks. I mean, I remember watching, I was so pumped up for the first Suicide Squad movie. I was like, this is going to be so good. I was like, Jared Leto's Joker looks badass. I was like so pumped. And I remember sitting in the movie house thinking, I actually might walk out.
Yeah.
That was like the one movie I was just so disappointed. I was like, Cara Delevingne can't act. I was like, this is horrible.
Yeah. I feel bad. Of all the movies you could have said, it had to be Suicide Squad.
That was literally like one movie I remember just thinking like, this is tragic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you mean as well.
It's almost like the most fine movie I've ever seen. That's why I'm having difficulty articulating it. Anyway, listen, man. We're not here to talk about Super Mario. We're here to talk about Dreamkid, damn it.
Yeah.
So, first of all, you've got an interesting accent. So, where are you from?
Born in South Africa. Most of my family's from England. My mom was born in Devon, but I moved here when I was about 21 years old, which was in about 2005, I think. So yeah, I've been in the UK nearly half my life, but not.
But you still retained some of the accent.
Yeah, I just can't. I mean, most of my friends that moved from South Africa to England, they got like English accents after about 17 working days, but like, But I just can't seem to lose it. I think it's because I don't really pay attention to what's happening around me. And also on top of that, there's so many accents in London. You know, someone's Spanish, someone's Italian, someone's Cockney, someone's posh, someone's not posh, someone's a Safa, somebody's Australian. I mean, how do you pick up an accent when everyone's got a different accent? That
is a very good point.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when I went to America once, I mean, after 3 weeks, I started saying like yeah a lot, and I was like, okay, this is quite easy to slip into because everyone sounds American here, well, the majority. But especially a place like London, it's like everyone's got a different accent, so I can't really. So you just zone out. You're just like, well, everyone's different, so how you can't pick up anything.
You know, I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I mean that's how I've always seen it. And on top of that, I naturally don't copy people what they're doing.
Right.
In terms of, you know, when everyone's dressing like this, I'm kind of always on my own little mission anyway. Not that I'm highly original, but that's just the way I am, you know, as an individual. So I think that's part of it.
I have that problem, but I feel like it can be offensive because if I'm with somebody, I will start subconsciously mimicking their accent.
Okay.
And it's not a choice. Like I'm not doing it to like fuck with people. It's just like, sometimes it comes out of me and then I feel bad. I'm like, oh God, like I didn't mean to, you know, like, especially if people have fun accents. It's fun to like, you know, become one with them, but then it can also be seen as the jerk.
Yeah, I can't, even my friends from South Africa, they're all like, dude, like your accent is still the same. I'm like, I don't know. I can't help it. Stop judging me. This is my accent. Like, I was born there. Like, just deal with it.
But your mom was born in England, so like, how did she end up in South Africa?
Well, she was born in England, but and then my grandparents, my grandfather's from Leeds and my grandmother's from Scotland, and they moved to Zimbabwe when my mom was about 5. I think they moved there for, I don't know, teaching jobs, or my grandfather was a teacher. And on top of that, my dad was born in South Africa, but his dad is from England too. So I've had a British passport since I was 4, but I could have got it from either my dad's side or my mom's side, and I got it from my mom's side. So I have 2 passports. I have the South African one and I have the British one.
Like, do you ever go back there, or did all the main people move?
The main people. I go there. No, my family's all pretty much there. So I go there every year. And sometimes I go for as long as 3 months. So I was just there now from January to February. So I tend to go there for quite long holidays.
Okay.
I do love it. I do love going home. I mean, obviously it's got its problems, but compared to London, it's a whole different lifestyle. And it's great when you're on holiday.
Yeah.
I think living there might be a different story, and I'm not sure what it feels like because I haven't lived there in so long, but it's great on holiday. Like, Cape Town is awesome.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we'll talk more about that, because I don't think I've ever chatted. Oh no, wait, Stu from Outland. He's South African, isn't he?
Yeah. He manages me. Yeah. But I only met Stu in London, and he's from Cape Town. I'm actually from Durban, which is a different state or province.
Stu's a cool guy.
Yeah.
So that's the only other person I've chatted with, I think, with this accent.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've chatted with him on the show, but he arranged some pretty cool. Like, probably the coolest event that happened in Toronto was organized by Stu.
Yeah.
So
just before lockdown, I think.
Yeah. Well, look, how about this? Let's listen to a song, and then we will keep chatting. So I got a bunch of Dreamkid tracks to play, and this one might be my favorite. So I don't know if it's weird to start with that one, but it's called Fatal Attraction by Dreamkid.
You
And that was Fatal Attraction by Dreamkid. Ooh. And I'm here with Dreamkid right now, Ryan, talking about South Africa. Or like we're gonna start talking about it because I got questions.
Cool. Bring on the questions.
So
as one does in podcasts.
Because obviously you lived your first 20 years there, right? So like what were you doing? Were you playing music over there?
Yeah, I was in a pop punk band from when I was about 16. And we actually I left with my band. We all got on the same flight and we all left. We actually did quite well in South Africa. We got on in the South African radio charts. We played some of the biggest shows there and the biggest festivals. But at the time, because the internet kind of hadn't really picked up, we were like, well, we all got like British ancestry. Let's just try and let's see what we can do in England. So I'm actually still in a band with those guys to this day.
What's the band?
It was called What Now. It was very pop punk, but then we signed to a US label and we changed a couple things, and now it's called New Volume. It's very different to Dreamkid. It's more Depeche Mode mixed with alternative rock. I don't really sing. I'm more like backing and play guitar.
And so that's still an active project?
It's still active. We haven't really been that active since COVID pulled in, but we have a new album that we need to drop at some stage. We're just trying to work out. Yeah, we're still in the process of that. So
wait, so Dreamkid then was that born of just the fact that
was literally born in lockdown?
Right. Okay. I
didn't know how to produce. I didn't know anything. I didn't know about compression. I didn't know about EQ. I didn't know about nothing.
I still don't.
I still don't either. Just relied on my ear, and I basically just sat and obsessed over everything during lockdown, and I just wrote and recorded and watched YouTube tutorials, and that's kind of how the first album came about. Is
it weird for your bandmates that you just have like this side thing that blew up?
No, they're happy for me, and initially I was like, sorry guys, I'm doing this synthwave thing, and they were like totally cool with it in the beginning, and I was like, no, they're totally cool. I mean, they're like my brothers. They're my best friends. So it's...
Did they all keep their accents?
Yes, but not as strong as mine. I probably got the strongest. Maybe I'll lose it one day when I'm 85.
So then with your band, is that a band that's like a jam thing? Like you guys got to be together in order to...
No, it's very like we get together. I mean, my drummer lives in Sweden now, so he comes over here every now and then we'll basically write and rehearse and that kind of stuff. If we've got like gigs happening, which hasn't been for a while, but it's still there. It's still there. It's just not there.
How long has that guy been in Sweden? Like, does he have a crazy accent now if it's combining all these elements?
No, they both have South African accents still, but it's just a little bit shaved off the edges, where mine's still a bit like, hey, how's it? Yeah.
Just to be clear, we're going to be talking about your accent for the whole show.
That's fine.
Just a heads up. So you guys were about to release something?
We actually had an album ready, and then COVID came, so we were like, well, let's not release it over COVID. Let's just wait it out. And then in that time, I was like, I need to do something else. Like, I'm too creative. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have kids. I need to do something else. Otherwise, I'll go crazy, especially during COVID. Like, I had to do something. So
in the band then, is someone else like the main songwriter person?
Yeah, the other guitar, and he writes a lot of the stuff. But I mean, we've all written together as a band since the start. So it's kind of a mix and a mash generally, especially with the music.
Right.
And the melodies and that kind of stuff, yeah. So lockdown, I was just like, I need to do something. And it was kind of in that time where I was in some of the synthwave groups, and I was just kind of like, looking about, seeing what's happening. And then I saw Stu on there, and Stu's actually a friend of mine on Facebook. And I was like, dude, what are you doing in a synthwave group? You're South African. No South Africans know about synthwave. I'm the only one that knows about synthwave. What are you doing there? And then he was like, dude, I have a label. Like, we've done a gig in Toronto and that kind of stuff. And obviously I'd played gigs with him in my early years in London. Like, we had opened up for one of his bands. Basically, that band, I moved over from South Africa. We moved to England, and then after a year, we split up for about 2 years. And me and my drummer from that band, we started another band called Miami, which is kind of, I suppose I was trying to go for the synthwave thing, but it was early. It was like 2008. You know, synthwave wasn't, I mean, to my knowledge, synthwave wasn't really a thing. So it was kind of like a pop punk thing that had a very 80s coloring and logos and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And basically that band, we opened up for one of Stu's bands. And that's how I met Stu initially. This is like 2008, 2009. This is ages ago. I'd met him briefly, and he was on my Facebook, basically. And then during lockdown, through the synthwave groups, he was like, "Okay, well, I've seen you perform on stage. I know you've got what it takes. Like, send me what you're making and send me what you're doing." And then it was in that time where I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna call myself Dreamkid." Very cliche synthwave name, but I kind of wanted that. I didn't want to be too abstract. I just wanted to make it like as cliche as it comes. That's how it started. And then I started sending him songs, and he was like, "Okay, this is good." And initially I wasn't going to sing. I was like, I'm just going to make instrumentals. And then I started singing a bit because I've got a very like pop punk Blink-182 kind of a voice. And I thought, okay, maybe it kind of works different. And yeah, that's how it was born.
There you go. Well, there's the Dreamkid origin right there. So how about we listen to a song?
Cool.
Which one should we pick next here? Let me look at the list here. You know what? How about we listen to Office Wave? That's a fun one.
Cool.
And then we'll keep chatting.
Rad.
So this is Office Wave by Dreamkid. All right, and that was Office Wave by Dreamkid. And I'm here with Dreamkid right now, Ryan, talking about...
Yo.
It's funny, I never knew Stu had a band. I always thought he was just sort of a managerial type.
He's a drummer. He still plays in cover bands.
Well, there you go. I'm learning a lot about Stu today.
Yeah. No, he's a musician.
He probably told me now that I think about it. You know, it's hard. I don't retain a lot of the information because I've been doing this show for like 10 years.
Okay.
And I have talked to lots of people, and so and my brain is mush. And so that's why I'm very excited for AI to organize my information and my files for me, because I'm not going to be able to do it.
Sounds great. I'm looking forward to that too, actually, to be honest.
So what was going on then in your youth? So you're playing pop punk music, having a good time.
Yeah. I started off in rap. I started listening to MC Hammer when I was about 5, and then I went into like Bryan Adams and Aerosmith. And then I kind of got into Green Day in about 95. And then I got into like Blink. And then I was surfing a lot because I'm a surfer. My dad's a surfer. I was on the beach a lot. And I just, the whole pop punk thing kind of was heavily involved in the whole surfing skate culture. And from there, I started a band. And yeah.
Did you ever go to the Golden Mile beachfront in Durban?
Yeah. Do you know, have you been there?
No, I downloaded some facts about...
I've never heard of it being referred to as a Golden Mile, but it's... that's where I kind of grew up surfing. It's called North Beach in Durban. It's like the Durban Promenade.
Okay.
It's very sort of, I would say, a little bit similar to Venice Beach in a way. It's got like the palm trees and the promenade and everyone's skating and cycling, and it had a similar kind of, it was a similar kind of life, I would say, growing up on the beachfront.
Right.
I used to literally get dropped off, and my dad will just drop me off at like 9 in the morning and then pick me up at like 5 at night, and I'll just spend the whole day there with friends, just surfing and eating junk food, and yeah.
That sounds fun. How does that compare to the surfing at Jeffreys Bay?
I've actually never surfed Jeffreys Bay. My dad surfs there a lot. He goes there quite often. I've been there.
There's a major international surfing competition there.
Yes, the Billabong Pro. Yeah. My dad actually had, he was staying there with his friend, and he actually had dinner with Kelly Slater. Fun fact.
Ooh. Get him on the phone.
Yeah. We should.
Okay, cool. So then it sounds pretty idyllic, right? Like the weather's warm over there.
Yeah, which is completely different to London. I don't know what I'm doing here, but anyways.
Not surfing?
No.
Can you still surf?
I can. I surf when I go on holiday there, and I generally stand up first wave. So yeah.
Do you ever see the movie Point Break?
I have. It still holds. Actually, it holds up.
Well, Point Break's a fucking awesome movie.
There's some terrible ones. I can't think of the names. I have seen some terrible ones, but Point Break still holds up for sure.
Oh, no, Point Break's a fucking awesome movie. Yeah.
I remember there was a movie, I think it was in the 90s, called Surf Ninjas. I don't know if you've remember that. I need to see that again. It's probably so bad.
Surf Ninjas. I don't think I've ever heard of Surf Ninjas.
Yeah. It's a movie. I think I might watch it. I might watch it later now. I think it's actually... I need some inspiration.
What do you mean by later? Isn't it like 2 a.m. where you are?
Yeah. I mean, I'll go to bed at 5, 6, so it's all good. I'll have some hours to kill, but I'll probably be doing music anyway, so...
So you're like a night owl?
Yeah. I try not to be, and I try to change my time clock as much as I can, because I don't think it's actually that great for my mental health, but... So I try to fix it, and it might happen for maybe 2 or 3 nights, and then I slip back into that night thing again. I just find I'm more creative at night, and I come up with better ideas at night, and apparently when I was a baby I was the same. I just didn't want to sleep at night, only in the day. So it's probably something built into me that I just can't.
It's tough because you want... Like, I feel better if I wake up early and have like more daylight in my life. But... I hate waking up early. I've got kids, so I have to take them to school.
Yeah.
But I'm always groggy. Like, I'm awful in the morning. It takes me probably like a good an hour and a half to like boot up and not be angry about being awake.
Yeah. I'm like that. Sounds like me every day.
Yeah, because I fall asleep usually more like around like 1 or 2.
Okay.
And then I have to wake up
at 7, 6
to take the kids to school, and then I'm grumpy, and then I just end up taking like a nap. because I'm mad. I take a mad nap.
An angry nap.
Yeah, it's never satisfying.
Yeah.
I always thought I was more creative at nighttime, but lately when I've actually like analyzed, I don't really get much done.
Yeah.
I'll be awake at night and I'll be in front of the computer, but then I find if I actually pay attention to my work output, it's like I didn't really do anything for like 10 p.m. onwards. I just sort of stared at the screen.
Yeah, I've done that before. Maybe part of it is that in the day you have people texting you and people asking you questions, and that might have something to do with it. But I know for a fact that like if you sleep at night, it's better for you than if you sleep in the day.
Yes.
Even though I don't want to sleep, or you will not want to sleep in the day, it's better for you. But it's just so hard to sleep at night, sorry.
It is the distraction now that's the most frustrating thing, like, because the daytime is obviously where I have the most time to work, but it's so full of distractions that I'm never able to, I say this a lot on the show, but like it's getting into the zone. I need to get into the zone.
Yeah, and it's hard to get into the zone when you have things happening.
It's fucking crazy. But lately I'm starting to think that it might be me trying to justify my procrastination. Yeah. Because the rules I've set for what needs to happen for me to be in the zone is so specific. It's like, it needs to be between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. and it needs to be cloudy outside and kind of warm, and I need to have just had like a coffee, all these things have to align.
It sounds actually so much like it's exactly how I am actually thinking about. Are you ADHD? Because you sound ADHD. Because I'm ADHD. That's part of my reasons.
It's just an excuse for my procrastination. It's like, because I feel like if I outline this crazy, the stars aligning in order for me to work properly, then that justifies why I never work properly.
Yeah. Or sometimes do you feel like you have so many things to do and they all kind of come at you at once, so you end up just doing nothing because you don't even know where to start. You're like, I don't know where to start, so I'm just going to sit there. Yes.
It's a crazy psychological trick that when I have a giant to-do list, I do nothing.
And then when you start doing something, you're like, this isn't so bad. Why didn't I just start it like 4 hours ago?
I know. There's no, every day I feel like I have not done what I wanted to do. Like, just every day feels like that.
And even if you do something, well, with me, even if I do work and I do a bunch of stuff, I'll still be like, you lazy piece of shit.
Yeah.
You did nothing today. Meantime, like, I'm like, dude, you mixed a song, you made a TikTok, just calm down. You've done stuff. Like, I'm so hard on myself. I'm like, it's so bad.
Yeah, no, I completely understand, dude. It's the same. It's, well, look, how about this? Speaking of not doing things, we're going to do something right now. We're going to listen to some cool music.
Radical.
I got
It's the Surf Ninjas soundtrack.
Yeah, man. This is one from, this is the part where the Surf Ninja was getting away and he was a fugitive. This is a track called The Fugitive by Dreamkid. All right, and that was The Fugitive by Dreamkid, and I'm here with Dreamkid right now, Ryan.
Yo.
Talking about procrastination and getting shit done.
Yeah, it's a tough world out there.
You just mentioned it before we started listening to the song there, because you were talking about getting stuff done and doing TikToks and shit. So you are probably like one of like the breakout like synthwave people on TikTok, because that was a big deal. Even on your Instagram too, that was a big thing. Why the hell did that happen?
I have no idea. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
It must be the aesthetic, right? It's partly like your look.
It's a combination of things. I might just be lucky with the algorithm. I find the algorithm is such a weird thing, and I'm still to this day trying to work out what the hell. I think it's so random, the algorithm. And once it gets on your side, it's awesome. But then once it's not on your side, it's horrible.
Right.
I mean, there was a couple of us doing sort of dabbling into the TikTok thing, and for sure, Sunglasses Kid was one of the first, or one of the first people that I remember seeing. And I saw a couple other people, and I think we were all just kind of fun, trying to work out what do synthwave people do online. I mean, how can we push stuff, I mean, what should you do? And I think I would post a couple videos of me just jamming, and I'd be like, yeah, this is me working on a new track. Or I'll do a couple of videos where it was like, I'm gonna add some bass, now let me add the drums, and altogether it sounds like this. And I'll do a couple of those, and some of them started doing quite well, and I was like, okay, so something's sort of happening here. People are taking notice. And then one video, I was going to do exactly that. I was going to go, okay, I'm making some bass. I'm going to put in the riff. I'm going to put in the drums. And then just as I was going to post it, I just said, it's 1986 and you're driving home after a breakup. Like, just cliche as random, just off the top of my head. Wasn't even thinking about it. I only had like 800 followers, so I didn't really care. I was like, I'm just, whatever. Let's just try this. And then it just literally hit 1.5 million. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to stop now. Yeah. I'm not going to stop. Yeah, I'm just going to carry on. Like, it's just helping. I think I'm seeing now that it's pushing the whole scene out there, and other people are doing well now from doing the similar kinds of stuff. And I think it's great. I've always thought like people are really hungry for this 80s thing, but a lot of people don't know about it, even though there's a whole scene and we think everyone knows about it. There's a lot of people that don't know about it.
That's been the hardest part for me, like this whole time, because over the course of doing this show, I've met so many really talented people who actually make very good music. Yeah. Like, not like good for a fucking bedroom producer, but I mean good music that's like solid.
Definitely.
There's like synth pop and instrumental and, movie score kind of shit and all this stuff.
Definitely.
And it's like a different mentality, because for me, when I discovered synthwave, and this was in 2013, I was instantly like, I need more. So I found one thing, and then it was like, oh, well, this is exciting. Discovered the synthwave hashtag, and I just kept diving and getting more and more and more. Yeah. And I just feel like there is a lot of people who don't. Like, they like it. Every time they hear synthwave or some movie comes out that's got this retro vibe, they're like, oh, it's so cool. It's like the 80s. But then they stop.
Yeah, they don't make like the connection.
Yeah, and so it's hard, because honestly, like, my wife's always on TikTok, and I hear the shitty music that comes out of that thing, and I'm like, why don't people start putting more of these fucking synthwave tracks behind their cat videos and stuff? It's like, it would be a much more enjoyable platform if it was like cool music.
Yeah.
So many people wreck these videos. Like, I'll watch a fucking cat, and I'm like, this is cool, and all of a sudden just like, oh no, and like, I just want to smash the phone.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking like, dude, I've got a playlist with like fucking 60,000 songs, and like they're all cool, and it's like this, I mean, like, let's what is my point? I don't know what my point is.
I think your point is, I think, it's been like that for a while, but it's definitely starting that a lot of people are using this kind of music. I mean, some of my reels I've had like 100,000 people have used some of my music from a reel, and they've used it in their reels.
Well, that's awesome.
It's definitely starting. Yeah. But I mean, like with me, I've got such like imposter syndrome. I'm still like, dude, I still don't get it. I scratch my head and I'm like, why did mine do so well? Because there are so many more like musically talented synthwave artists out there.
I feel like your look is part of it, but then I'm wondering
probably
how the algorithm knew that. Because obviously, you know, because I've been familiar with the synthwave scene for a long time now, and there was definitely different like phases of it. Like in the beginning, it was a lot of people who liked wearing masks.
Okay.
Because a lot of dudes, right? It's a lot of dudes doing bedroom music who maybe don't want to put their faces out there or whatever. So it was a lot of masks. And there was a certain type of person, you know what I mean? And so definitely seeing you do it, it's like, okay, this is different for the scene.
Yeah.
And so I do think maybe that had part of it, like there is that aspect.
I definitely think like subconsciously I was always like, I kind of discovered this since I've seen it, and I was like, I want to put my kind of personality into it, and I think it kind of did maybe help. Maybe that's part of the reason. But also some people are like, well, it's confusing. They're like, what the hell? This is Johnny Depp from the dollar stores making these TikTok, like this 80s music. I think because literally every fifth comment is something about Johnny Depp. So it could be that. It could be, I don't know. And the other weird thing is it started on TikTok, but then it also started on Instagram, and then it also now starting on YouTube. So they've all kind of worked. It's not like one platform, the algorithm said cool, and the other platform said no.
Right.
They've all, done pretty well. So whatever it is, yeah.
I'm always curious as to how many people really jump from one to the other. Like, that's the part that I've always had difficulty with. I've never understood how to fucking game the algorithm or whatever. I wish it was something I knew about.
I think a lot of people think they do, but they actually have no idea what the fucking what is going on. I think even people who work at TikTok are probably like, you know what, it changes every 16 hours, the algorithm. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah. I have seen a lot of advertisers though on Instagram keep telling me that they know how to boost stuff. That seems to be like, whenever I'm scrolling through Instagram, it's all ads now, and it's all just like, are you trying to up your Spotify game?
City. Sign up to Bot City. We'll get your plays out there.
Yeah, Bot City.
I don't think, like, I even like have this conversation with some people, and I'm like, I don't want to actually try and hack. I don't want to try and work out the algorithm. I just want to make cool shit and post it. And if it does well, does well. If it doesn't do well, cool. Like, I'm not going to try. I don't want to have to try and chase the dragon of algorithm. It's just that for me is just that doesn't sound fun.
No,
I just want to just make stuff and post it, and I don't really. Yeah,
and you don't want to end up being like a creative person who just tailors what they do to what they think the audience wants instead of like following their passion.
Yeah, and I don't like. I'm not into that. I mean, I had some artists that sang over my tracks on TikTok, and then they wanted to release the song for them, and I was like, it's not how I want. Nothing to do with the capabilities, but that's not how I want my song to go. Yeah. Just because it's done well on TikTok, that doesn't mean that now that's what I must release it as. That's not how I envisioned it, and that's not how I want to make my art. So, but it's a weird time because there is that factor of people can sing over your track, and then it turns into like a banging viral sensation of a song, and then you can release it. But it's just, we're in a different time where you might not want to do that, or you might want to do that, but we all kind of trying to work this stuff out, algorithms and how to go about this kind of stuff. It's an unusually cool time in music, I suppose.
Well, speaking of cool music, why don't we listen to this track, Obsession? How about that?
Cool, let's do it.
I can tell you're not very impressed with my segues. All right, here we go. This is Obsession by Dreamkid. right, and that was Dreamkid with the track Obsession. And I'm here right now with Dreamkid talking about TikTok. So how many of those do you do a week?
2 a week. 2 a week is good. Initially, I was doing 3 a week and sometimes even 4, but I was just like, I might burn out if I do this.
Did you have like a schedule going?
Not really. I would just kind of roughly in my head be like, okay, I need to make one tonight. And I mean, how I do make them is I'll think of the caption, and then I'll make the music, and then I'll film it, and then I'll edit it and post it literally in about 3 to 4 hours. It's kind of how I'll do it. I'm not overthinking it. And there has been times where I have overthought them, and I've tried to like let me make this production sick, and let me spend 2 days mixing it, and all the ones I've done like that have just flopped. So and all the ones that I've just slapped out in 3 hours have gone viral. So now I'm just like, you know what, just keep slapping them out. Who cares? And you never know what's going to do well until it actually gets posted. So
isn't that the way it always is, though? I think maybe with synthwave, it's about the vibe.
Yeah.
You know? And so maybe subconsciously you can feel that when you just jam,
yeah,
you're more you're vibing more than when you plan something.
Yeah, it's so weird. I mean, like it's probably like that in music and throughout history, you know, like I know like with Def Leppard, they were like, oh, we need one more song on the album, I got this little riff, and it turned out to be Pour Some Sugar on Me, and they slapped it out in 5 seconds, and that was the song that pretty much blew up. So I think it's like that, you know, with a lot of music. But yeah, definitely I've worked out that the songs that I just rush and I just not think about and I just slap together are the ones that have gone viral. It's very weird. And
also too, if it doesn't work, it's not as much of a burden's not the word I'm looking for.
If you're doing a lot quickly and you're just kind of slapping them out, if one flops, you're like, okay, well, I only spent 3 hours, 2 hours on that, so who cares?
Because I always put so much work into like the things that I produce, and I'm always like, why bother? Like whenever I do some dumb video or I just turn the camera on and say some stupid voice, everyone like there's more comments and people are like, it's funny, and then I'll spend like 6 months editing a video on YouTube that like 100 people watch, and I'm like,
I know.
I probably put like 100 hours into this fucking thing, you know?
That's exactly, I was actually thinking about that the other day. I was just like, what is the point? If you don't know what's going to do well and all the stuff that's done well has been slapped out, then what is the point of sitting there and trying to make it perfect? Because it's just pointless. I mean, if you feel like you need to make it great in your head and you think, I need to spend, this is going to be sick, then if you have fun doing it, then cool, then do that. But
to be fair, we are talking about social media short little videos here, right? Like we're not talking about the album.
No.
We're not, you know, I mean, that's the difference. Because I think it's like, how much do you really want to put in when at the end of the day it is a thing that people are sort of like flicking through, but you know you've got your album that, yes, you'll obsess over that and you'll spend hours fucking doing different things. Like it's a different thing.
Exactly. And I mean, even so, like you might mix it perfectly and then TikTok compression will just come in and destroy it anyway. So whatever. So see, I do know what compression what it does. It destroys things.
I never will.
No, yeah.
Wait, so you're working on a new one now? When does the new one come out?
Well, we're aiming for, I would say, the latter half of this year, which is after July. So maybe August.
So how far along is this project?
Probably about a third through. I mean, it'll go quicker now because I'm locking in what songs that I actually want to finish, and then I can just get on with it. For me, a lot of the time, which takes long, is working out of my head what kind of songs I want and what vibe and what album theme and that kind of stuff. But once I have that, then I can kind of lock in and finish it quickly.
So when you're doing the TikToks and Instagram posts and stuff like that, do you use those tracks as like starting points for full songs?
Yeah. So before the TikTok things happened, I actually thought I had the 12 songs that I wanted to finish for the album, and now a lot of those original songs have been replaced with a lot of these TikTok songs.
Well, now you can have like a B-sides album.
Exactly. So I've got so many demos now. It's awesome. It actually kind of forces me to just write a lot. So even if I make a TikTok and it flops or whatever, you know, it doesn't matter. You've written something and it's just pushing you. It's pushing you to become a better musician.
Think about that sentence. You know, I'm like 41 years old, and the idea of the sentence, if my TikTok flops, if someone said that to me a few years ago, just like, what the fuck does that mean? Fucking TikTok flops.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, I have fun making them. So, I would make them anyway. So it's all fun. So I enjoy doing it. And that's what matters at the end of the day.
Yes. Well, it is.
Yeah.
Well, just because when synthwave sort of blew up, there was a lot of people that sort of came in, and some of it did feel a little cynical. Well, not cynical, but
when did synthwave, would you say, blew up? Because I think I missed that.
When I say blew up, like, I mean,
yeah, yeah.
But
became a scene sort of thing.
I think the scene sort of started forming. It's like 2012.
Okay, that early
is when
wow.
When people are actually using the word.
Okay.
In that context, because it existed, right? I mean, there was these artists doing like Outrun and shit.
Yeah.
And the Valerie Collective were making things, and Miami Nights and stuff, and and that stuff was happening.
Yeah, Miami Nights was one of the first albums. Whatever album, I think it's called Turbo. Or I don't know, I forgot the name, but that was the first album that I heard.
When they started making the music, they weren't even calling it synthwave, right? Like that was sort of got retroactively applied to some of those early works of like Laserhawk and stuff like that, where I feel like it was after the movie Drive. Drive was a huge fucking obviously, and that's kind of how I found the scene in the first place, because I was just listening to a movie podcast and they were like, oh, if you like synth music scores, you might like this movie, and I'm like, well, I like synth music scores, because I mean, before this point I would listen to things like Tangerine Dream music scores and stuff like that, and my favorite group is like Depeche Mode, and I've always liked synth pop and all that stuff, but it was more about that video game connection at the start. So the Outrun thing was big, and it was kind of artists making music that almost sounded like video game music, but with retro synth samples.
Okay.
So I'm going to say like 2012, 2013 is when it sort of forms.
Okay.
I'm trying to think when there was like the biggest influx of artists, but it's probably in like the 2014 to 15 and 16, like that zone.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that's when I discovered them. I mean, I discovered the scene. I discovered the new retro wave YouTube channel, and I was like, what the hell? There's actually like a scene. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, and that was probably the time where there was the most, like, people would get excited about it, and then they would, download FL Studio and watch a YouTube tutorial. But then a lot of people would sort of come in and bail.
Okay.
So there was a lot of like, someone comes in, makes 2 or 3 songs, gets mad that no one listens to them, and then leaves. Well, which is it's true. It's like this was like this.
Yeah.
It was sort of like a meme at that point that we would always make fun of, like just like, oh, here's another person who sort of promotes themselves very heavily for a few weeks, gets angry, and then goes away. And then so in that time though, like there was still plenty of amazing music, and like the cream rose to the top or whatever, and that's usually people who are actually passionate about making music.
Yeah.
Just because the barrier, I catch myself saying the same sentences all the time, but like the barrier of entry to synthwave is low. You can get in and be making synthwave music pretty quick.
Yeah.
And so it's all about what you bring to it that makes it stand out.
Yes, that's true.
Because to make a generic synthwave song is not, I would say, a difficult thing.
Yeah.
But, to stick around requires the staying power of someone who's actually passionate about making music.
Yeah. If you're not completely like obsessed about it, then you're going to lose interest. So like with me, I was always like, I'm not making this kind of music because I'm trying to get popular, or I just love it. I just freaking love it. So I didn't really care.
Yeah.
If I have 10 monthly listeners, then cool. I'm loving this. I'm sure a lot of artists are like that, but maybe sometimes they expect too much. I mean, I did not expect to have nearly 200,000 Instagram followers doing synthwave. That is something I did not expect.
Well, it's also something that's kind of new, because I've never really seen it happen this way. Because even like the more popular artists that people would recognize, if you talked about like in the early days, be like Perturbator and the Midnight, and stuff like that. Even they, I mean, like they got a bump because Captain America like retweeted them. That was like the Midnight.
Okay. Oh yeah, the actor dude.
Yeah. That's right. I just call him Captain America.
Yeah.
So there's little things like that. Those are like the old school social media tricks. Like if a famous person notices you and retweets you, you get like a bump or whatever. But the sort of very quick, huge popularity of your TikTok and stuff is like it's kind of new.
Yeah.
Like I've not seen an artist just pop in and then just this happens. You know what I mean? So there's something different about it.
I remember thinking like if I ever got to 10K on Instagram, like oh my goodness, I'm huge. Yeah, I mean literally this time last October I had 1,000 followers on TikTok and Instagram.
Well, I'm gonna dye my hair pink and then see if I can get an extra 1,000 there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you can try. It's worth. You can the more you can look like Johnny Depp from Wish or the Dollar Store. I'm sure I get the vibe that I may be pissed off a couple of the old synthwave people. I just get the vibe sometimes, but that's not something I'm really gonna worry about.
Well, what can you do, man, when the fucking algorithm takes control?
Because I'm sure some people have been doing it for a decade, and then I just pop out of nowhere and just and they're probably like, what the fuck is this fucking...
Yeah. I think any sort of exposure to the scene makes me happy.
Yeah, that's I mean, I'm not just saying that because I have a lot of it, but that's kind of my attitude even now. Like, just, any music scene, that's how it happened, and now it's happening with synthwave. It seems like. Listen,
let's listen to another track. We just talked for a big chunk there. I want to listen to the track "Parents."
Okay.
By Dreamkid. That was my dramatic throw. That was weird. And that was Parents by Dreamkid. And I'm here with Dreamkid talking about...
Dreamkid.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, what else is going on?
Otherwise, I'm just writing for this album. I'm doing my TikToks. I've just filmed a music video for my first single that I'm releasing this month. So I'm busy editing that. I should actually get people to edit it for me, but because I got so much stuff going on, but I don't want that. I want to do it myself.
Sure. Well, it's fun to do,
especially in the early days. While I can, I'd like to try and do everything myself. I know, like some people tell me, like, dude, you can't do everything yourself, and I don't get that. You can't. Eventually, you won't be able to. But
you mean when you're an old man?
Yeah, which is in 3 years' time.
Yeah. Gotta edit now while my hands still work.
Yeah. Exactly. And I should, I'm keen to start doing shows in the latter half of the year as well. Just need to work out how and
well, it's a good thing you got Stu from Outland in your corner, man, because he can.
Yeah.
Maybe he can work some magic.
Exactly.
Do you have something in mind? Like, would you like to get some supporting players, or would you do like just a solo thing, or what's the...
I'll start off maybe the first couple I'll just do myself, just as like a DJ / kind of thing, but I'll also play guitar and I'll sing and obviously play a bit of keys. But I would like a drummer. I would like to have... I think drums add a lot, especially live. When it's just one person there already, I think another like a drummer can add so much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got someone in mind, obviously, who I would start off with that. But I also think it's good to do some shows, especially the first couple, completely alone, just to, I don't know. I think it just push your confidence if you're completely alone. Because I've never done a show by myself, just me, in my life. So it's good to throw yourself out there to help you. For me, I know it'll push my confidence way more.
Just get some cardboard cutouts of people.
Yeah.
And just arrange them on the stage.
Like One Direction members, band members, just like put them around the stage. I'm joking. I don't know why I thought of One Direction.
I'm too old to get the reference.
I don't even know there is a reference.
Yeah, man. Well, that's cool. So when you are preparing, I mean, like, do you just look like that all the time?
Yeah.
So is it easy then when you start to like make a TikTok, you don't have to actually...
Oh yeah, that's how that's me all the time. I wear cut-up shirts every day. I wear eyeliner. I've been wearing eyeliner every day since I was probably 16. So it's not anything. I will add a bit of eyeshadow for the TikToks just to make it a bit... just to make it a little... I kind of leave that just for the TikToks, just to give it a little bit of a sparkle or whatever, bit of flair. But other than that, yeah, everything else, that's how I am permanently. So no, like when I'm not doing the TikToks, I don't like put on a rugby jersey and start like playing sport and like I don't go play squash with my friends in collared shirts.
That sounds nice though, because then you're able to just fucking hit record. See, I'm so self-conscious.
Okay.
So before I even make even like a silly video, I'm like at the mirror like, oh, I gotta put some makeup here and cover this up, and oh, my hair looks funny or whatever, and like I'll waste all this time doing that and then have no time to actually make the video.
Yeah, I think that's natural. I think it's human nature. I mean, I'll get like... Sometimes I'll post something and I'll look at my TikTok and I'm like, what a moron. Oh, what are you doing? You look like an idiot. But that's just my imposter. I got that side of me that just wants to take me down all the time. So, but I think that's human nature as well. So, and it also depends on your mood, you know. If you're in a good mood and you're in the right headspace, you're like, oh no, it's cool. But then like the next day you might be a bit depressed or something, and then you watch something back and you'll be like, what an idiot.
Yeah. For me, it's always just noticing any imperfections.
Yeah.
Again, because I'll make videos where I do everything myself, and then I'll watch back and see there's a fucking hair out of place, like kind of flowing in the wind, like just one single hair, and I'll think, Jesus Christ, I just spent so much time setting all that shit up. And now all I'm looking at is some stupid hair, just this fucking rogue hair. There have been times, dude, where I've used special effects to like erase stuff like that.
Oh, dude, I get it. I'm like that to an extent too. And also what bugs me as well, my main thing is that TikTok, the syncing of audio with the actual video, it kind of fucks with that a bit. I find TikTok will push the audio a little bit too fast before the actual video, and then I find Instagram, it's a little bit delayed.
Yeah, no, Instagram, there's a drift. So if your video is like 15 seconds long or 20 seconds long, it's fine. But if you have a 1 minute video, like halfway through the audio starts to drift and then everything's kind of out of sync towards the end.
Like that'll bum me out. I'll watch them back and I'll be like, I'm hitting a drum and it's like off. I'm like, what? That's not how the video is. That's not me.
There was a point where I was like, can I figure this out so that I can edit the videos to purposefully have the audio be offset?
Yeah,
so that
I did that.
Oh, you did?
I actually sort of do. I mean, it's a bit difficult because what TikTok does and what Instagram do is slightly different. I think. I don't know for sure. But I get the impression that TikTok plays the audio faster and Instagram lags it. That's the vibe I get.
Okay.
So I kind of like just kind of find a middle ground where I'll be like, well, it's probably, you don't want to put it too fast because then TikTok's going to look overboard. And then it's just, I don't know. It's a hard one.
Well, this is how we'd solve it. Maybe I'll do this today, actually, because this actually would is if I watch a video on Instagram and then capture it, like do like a screen capture of the video, then put it into the editing program and actually look at the waveform and compare it to the original waveform, and then from in the future
could definitely do that.
Like offset your audio so it matches, like, okay, at the 30-second mark, pull the audio back 1 second or whatever.
But the other problem is the Bluetooth headphones. That's another issue because it's even worse. So if you watch it with Bluetooth headphones, the lag's even more, the audio is out of sync. So it's just like, man, you can't cater to all these different problems. It's just like...
Well, it's like, it's like when you're mixing your album as well, right? Because you'll think it sounds great, and then you'll go listen to it on another set of speakers and be like, what the fuck? And
I always hear funny sounds that aren't there. That's my weird thing that I always get. The more I listen to a song, especially it's always one that I've produced, I'll hear a sound and I can't really explain it. And I'll tell people, I'm like, do you hear that funny sound? And they're like, no. I'm like, there's a funny sound. It sounds like or whatever. And they're like, no, I'm not talking about it. And it's just, and then every time I hear that song, I'll just hear that sound. It'll be so, like, it just sounds so strong and just so like blatant. But to other people, they just think you're crazy.
And once you focus on it, you never unhear it.
Yeah, then you're done. It'll never leave. Every time you hear that song, you're like, there we go. There's that sound.
Do you actually have ADHD, or was that a joke?
No, I do have it.
So what does that mean? How does that manifest itself as an adult?
It's basically just like, I just have a lot of thoughts that just spiral in my head, and it'll just go round and round and round. And I have like really bad OCD, and what they say is actually quite linked together, OCD and ADHD. So I tend to, before, I take meds for it now, but before I would leave things to the last minute, because I'd have all these tasks in my head coming at me where it'll just cripple me and I just wouldn't do anything. And then I would be like, oh shit, I have to hand that in tomorrow. Fuck.
Yeah.
And then I would just do it. And I wouldn't do a bad job at all.
Maybe I have this. Everything you're describing, I'm just like, wait a second.
I don't know. I mean, I actually went to a psychologist in South Africa in January because I just suspected. I was like, I'm just not normal.
Well, no, because
But they actually say the ADD actually is an advantage when it comes to a lot of creative stuff because you connect dots differently to the normal person. So you see things differently, which is actually an advantage. Even with the TikTok, some people are like, dude, you're gonna run out of ideas. How do you come up with all these things? And I'm like, there's so much going on in my head. It cannot stop. There's so much stuff going on. I'll never
It cannot stop.
It cannot stop. It's just constantly. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, everyone talks about these things like ADD and OCD and all that, but I'm definitely got a mix up of that. But I think it helps me, and probably it's made me who I am today, and especially with artistic, creative kind of things.
It's interesting because just whenever people talk about ADHD and stuff like that, it's always in the context of kids. And so it's always like kids in school or kids these days have more ADHD. And so I never know what happens to them as adults. Like no one ever really talks about ADHD in adults. It's always just a kid thing.
Yeah, it's interesting because my sister she was taking Ritalin when she was in school because she was like completely hyperactive. But because I was a real quiet kid, no one thought there was anything that I had it. But then I did really bad at school because I was so busy, I couldn't listen. Oh, that's one thing with ADHD people. If someone talks to you, like in this podcast, I'm listening and I'm pretty focused and stuff. But there's a lot of times where, like, if you ever ask for directions and someone tells you directions and then you just like, I actually don't know what they said. I didn't even listen to one thing. Because I was so busy looking at their shoes or looking at something else and thinking about some other topic, and that's part of it.
I don't know, man. Everything you're saying, I'm starting to think. I'm like, wait a second.
Hey, man, I'm not. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I was a real bad listener in school. Mm-hmm. I was hearing them. Yeah. I was hearing them talk, but I wasn't listening. They were making sounds.
Yeah.
Or like someone will talk to me and I'm so busy they'll be trying to ask me a question, and before they've even finished the question, I'm already thinking about something that they initially asked in the question, and then when it comes to actually answering the question, I'm like, I don't know. That can happen. It might be OCD. It might be very OCD, but it is linked.
A lot of this stuff I feel like I have. One of mine is like, I have this weird social thing where if someone surprises me with a question, like if someone walks up to you like a stranger and says like, what's the time? Or do you know how to get to someplace?
Okay.
My immediate thing is to give them the opposite of the answer, but I don't mean to. So every time when I live in a small town now, so no one's asking me for directions. But when I was in the city, anytime someone asked me for directions, I would almost do this micro panic.
Okay.
And then even when I thought I had answered them correctly, as they walked away, I'd be like, wait, Peter Street's the other way. Why did I tell them it was to the right? Like I literally was so confident too. I'd be like, yeah, you go down there and it's to the left. And then it would always be, not only did I give them the wrong information, but I literally gave them the opposite. So if I told them to go right, I'd walk away and go, they're supposed to go left. Like, why did my brain even fucking say right? Like, it was so weird.
That's interesting.
If people ask me the time, I forget how to fucking read numbers. Like, I'm like fumbling with my phone, like, where's the clock in this thing? Like, it's so weird.
I mean, another thing I have, and I sound like I'm completely like insane, but I have like left-right dyslexia. So if someone says turn left for 8 seconds or 5 seconds, I actually have to think, I actually don't know where right or left is.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Dude, I wonder.
And it's all this kind of shit, all this kind of stuff is all linked, and it's genuinely
everything you're saying is like a thing that I have. So now I'm
and it's genuinely what makes people creative a lot of the time.
I'm an old man. I just learned how to drive.
Okay.
Because like I never had to drive before. So I have that difficulty too, where I actually have to narrate because none of it comes naturally to me because I never learned to drive as a kid.
Okay.
So I have to say out loud everything I'm doing.
Okay.
Because I still don't have the muscle memory for it, you know? So if you're backing up a car and you want your car to pull out to the right, you're turning your steering wheel. I'm like, okay, I'm turning it to the left so that it points me in the right, and I have to say it all out loud.
Yeah.
Because I'm just not used to doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine if I'm driving and I know I need to turn left, I'll turn left because I know it's that way.
Yes.
But if someone says turn left, I'm like, oh, what? And I'm almost, I have to think about it. I have to really think about it. And the way I normally go is because I'm right-handed, I'll go, you right with that hand? Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
And it's
funny, man. I kind of have the same thing. But I always attributed it to be like some weird social panic or something. Like I don't want to look foolish, but then I overthink in my subconscious brain is like overthinking what people are telling me, and instead of just going with the flow of like someone says it's over here, you just go over there. For some reason, my brain like flips it.
Yeah.
Because it's like making it more complicated for no reason.
Do you talk over people sometimes? Do you find you talk over?
I probably do it less now, but only because of doing this show.
Yeah.
So I'm more conscious of just like, okay, leave a space when the person's talking because it's really frustrating to edit if I'm always.
Yeah.
But I do. I'm assuming I probably do a bit.
Yeah. I think it's also kind of something I've learned to do because I was pretty bad at that, and that's part of ADD as well. You just kind of, people are talking, but you just start shouting out things over them, and they're like, "Dude, I haven't even finished what I'm saying yet." Like,
it's my turn. My turn to talk.
Yeah. So like my brother used to say to me, like, "Dude, you keep talking over people," and I'm like, "Oh," and then I'll get all like loser complex, like, "Oh shit, I need to stop talking over people." And like, yeah, you eventually have to learn. You have to learn to just chill out, wait your turn.
Well, look, man, listen. Let's listen to one more song, and then maybe we can wind down. Is that cool?
Cool. All good.
So I want to listen to this one. This is Game Over by Dreamkid. right, and that was Dreamkid with the track Game Over. I've been chatting with Dreamkid, aka Ryan, from the eastern shores of South Africa, who emigrated over to England.
The tropical island of England.
No longer hanging out in Richards Bay.
No, Richards Bay. How did you think of that one? There's something popped up in Google. No offense to anyone from Richards Bay if they ever listen to this, but Richards Bay is not a vibe. At all.
Isn't Richards Bay where it's got a deep water port and it's an industrial hub? Is that correct?
Yeah, I went there once for a surfing competition, but it's quite rough. It's quite a rough place.
Yeah.
If you ever see the place Belito Bay, that's where I'm actually from.
Oh, Willard Beach?
Yes. Brillo Beach is in Belito Bay. That's like the main beach, yeah. So
it's a good place for surfing and swimming, I hear. And there's a boardwalk with a scenic coastal walkway with ocean views. Is that correct?
That's it. I actually mixed my debut album in Belito.
That's cool.
Yeah, at my dad's house. Yeah.
How does your family feel about the Dreamkid explosion?
Yeah, I mean they're proud and stuff, and I've been doing music for so long. They're like, shit, it's about fucking time. But yeah, it's good, and I think especially like initially I was telling you about the synthwave thing, and they were like they didn't really understand. They were like, "What is the synthwave? Like, what are you on about? I don't understand. You're saying it's 80s, but it's not really 80s, but it's 80s." And I'm like, and then after watching all the TikToks, they kind of like, okay, I'm kind of getting this whole synthwave thing. I'm liking it now. It's growing on me. It's cool.
Everybody likes it.
Yeah,
that's the thing about synthwave, man. It's just not a lot of people know the words, or they don't know exactly what it is. But I don't think I've ever seen someone say they didn't like it.
Exactly.
Like if they hear synthwave.
Exactly. I mean, before synthwave, I never listened to music without lyrics.
See, I did. Like, I loved I loved instrumental music. I would listen to film scores and stuff.
Okay. I wouldn't say I disliked it. I just never did. I just was like, it needs lyrics.
No, exactly. No, and definitely, because I'm not a purist when it comes to the synthwave scene. So I think there are sort of people in the scene who I think wanted it always to be this small niche thing that nobody knew about.
Yeah.
Like your own little personal club.
By the way, those people hate me now. Carry on.
Well, of course. Yeah, but like with your success with TikTok and stuff, the reason why I'm always happy about stuff like this is because I genuinely love the music. Like I've never wanted this to be some private club. It's like I want to share all this awesome music that I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And I want people to like it. I want people to when I go downtown and someone drives by and I hear music coming out of their car, I want it to be synthwave.
Yeah.
And it's broadened so much since the scene started. So there was a lot of people who were very purist about it's got to be instrumental.
Yeah.
And all this people singing on their synthwave and I'm like, honestly, like everything has its place. Instrumental synthwave is very evocative. I love imagining movie scenes, and it gets me very creatively inspired, and at the same time listening to an awesome synth pop jam gives me a different kind of energy, and I like it all, so...
Yeah, that's for me, that's why I'm always... What I tell myself now and what I plan to do is I always make my albums half instrumental and half with singing. Just because I think that's cool, and it's not something that's... In this day and age where everything's pop and everything's got vocals on every song, I think it's quite a cool thing to do. Like, screw it. Like, why not? Just don't sing on some songs.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, and it's cool. I like that. It for me, it keeps it refreshing to me.
Yeah, and it's the vibe, right? Because I think that's what a lot of people were excited about with synthwave in the first place, is because it's just very cinematic and evocative kind of music. I mean, that's why, with the videos you do and like the video like Sunglasses Kid does as well, whenever you have that paragraph about like what the scene is you're setting.
Yeah.
And it's always like, yeah, that is the music that's going to be playing when I'm fucking heisting this bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think for me, why I started singing, because I know when it comes to do a live show, when I'm singing, it'll just add so much more to the show. Because if I'm just standing there and it's just a slow tempo instrumental, that's probably one thing I've always been a little bit with synthwave. But like, you need to do a bit more, because otherwise people are going to lose interest.
Yes, and that's the thing. So as much as I love, and I do love synthwave a lot, but definitely when it comes to the live thing, the bands that have always stood out to me are like the band, like when people actually have like a band and like there is singing and stuff, because when you go out to like a music show, you want it to feel like a music show.
Yeah, exactly.
And instrumental music is cool for setting a scene. Like if I owned a restaurant or if I owned a club, I'd be pumping synthwave music out because you feel cool, right? It's like, I'm in fucking Scarface or whatever. But when you go see a performance, you want to see the artist perform. That's what makes it special.
Yeah.
Like you want that energy.
I think it can still be instrumental, don't get me wrong, but I think if you got a drummer and you're playing a lead guitar and you kind of really giving it, then it can work for sure. I think it's just more like if you just put a laptop and you just play, I just don't think it really doesn't do it justice. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and it's always been a tricky thing because on one hand, a lot of synthwave artists when they started was just a guy with a laptop.
Yeah.
I couldn't fault them for going, it's cool that you're going out there and doing a live show. Like, that is cool. But definitely the artists who sort of rose above were the ones that understood you got to bring more to your game. Because even like guys like Perturbator, when he started, he's just a guy with a laptop, but then started really investing in things like a really awesome light system.
Yeah.
It's stupid to say, but it added so much where you can be playing the same songs.
Definitely.
But when you have when you rent the good light system, and like the good fucking smoke machine and shit, it adds so much to the show.
I guess also the other part of it, a lot of synthwave, the elements, they're not very live elements in terms of it's a very computerized, everything is very calculated and it's not the kind of stuff you can just get a band together and just smash out this perfect great sounding synthwave. So there is that part which does make it more difficult. But I think, look, like that, I saw the Midnight last week and it was great. It was like a slightly more rockier version of what the albums are, and I think that's cool. I think that's probably the way to do it.
Yeah, you want to give people a different sort of show anyways than what's on the album, because there is already the album. And so, there's so many ways to go about it, but I think, as long as you have it in your mind, like, if I'm going to do a show, I'm going to do a show.
Yeah, definitely. I think because I played in bands for me my whole life, it's kind of like that's what I've always done. So it just makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people, and they're like, why do you sing on some of your songs? I'm like, because when it comes to playing live, I want to be able to just throw in a bit more.
I love
just.
I do the same thing. My impression of what other people sound like.
I don't even know what I don't even know what I did.
It's just like why don't you do this? How come you do this? That's like what the internet sounds like.
Yeah, that's one of the hard things, I suppose, when you start getting like a lot of followers online, is that everyone's got an opinion.
Yes,
everyone's got the answer for you, and you just like. Sometimes I'm just like, man, can everyone just stop telling me stuff? It's just... That's
one of my pet peeves on the internet. Everyone always becomes fucking Johnny Information once you go out and do the thing. So it's like, whenever I ask a question of the internet, I never get an answer. But once I solve that problem myself, and if I publicly acknowledge it, then all of a sudden people just fucking fly out of the woodwork.
Exactly.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't fucking know that. I'm just like, well, I would have if you fucking told me when I asked the first time. It's like, it's the same with recipes.
Yeah.
You ever watched a recipe video on YouTube? Someone gives this is how I make spaghetti bolognese. All the comments are just, I would have put less garlic. When I make spaghetti, I do this. When I make spaghetti, I do that. It's like, you're all fucking full of recipes once somebody else already posted
everyone
theirs.
knows. It's like, where's your YouTube video?
Exactly.
I was actually, initially, I was very bit quick-witted, and I used to just be like, they'd be like, what you make, that song is so pissed. It's so easy to make, like, so simple. And I used to just say, okay, cool, where's your viral video?
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, that's probably a bit harsh. Like, don't say that. And then now I don't even reply. I don't even engage. I'm just like, you know what, whatever. But it's just, that's probably the hardest thing, is that everyone's got, and not just people, random people, it's like family and friends, like, you should do this, you should try that, you should be doing this, you shouldn't do that. And it's just like, just let me just do what I do, like, whatever.
I think, the biggest frustration for me is that it's just that it always happens after. It's like, no one seems to want to ever, like, give information before the thing. And then once you go out...
and then when you're doing it, then it's like...
You put yourself out there, and then it's like, I would have done this, or I would have done that. I'm like,
they act like it's so easy, then it's like, okay, then where's yours?
Yeah. No, it's true. I feel this way all the time. It's just, it's so easy to comment on someone else's thing. And I think the reason why I find it so strange is because I'm not a commenter. I've never been...
Yeah. Well, I'm not either as well. I'm the same.
Like when I watch something, if I don't like it, I don't say anything.
Exactly.
Like I just go, okay, well, I didn't like that. And I just sort of move on. Like I'm not that person that feels the need to like, I'm going to type and tell this person that I didn't like it. It's just like, what are you doing? Like, what is this?
I just don't get it. I'm also the same. If I don't like something, I just don't like something. Cool, whatever, dude.
Yeah, like that's even really complimenting people. I usually do that privately. Like, if someone I know posts something really special, like I'll just write them a message, like, dude, that was a fucking amazing video, but I might give it a heart.
Yeah.
But like I very rarely, I'm just not a commenter.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably similar. But I think, that's a hard thing. And it also depends on your mood of the day. If you wake up and you're in a good spirit, then it doesn't really affect you. But sometimes you're just like, can everyone just shut up?
Yeah.
If I can be brutally honest, that's what's in my head. It's just like, can everyone just shush?
Well, I wouldn't even know how to deal with the kind of success you have on your social media things, because like I mean, to be fair, a lot of it's positive, so that must feel good. But
no, don't get me wrong. I appreciate it like so much.
I do like nice comments. Like, I mean, they make me feel good. But I fucking focus on the negative ones.
Yeah,
so,
you like I'll probably have like 1-2% negative, but that's all I can think of.
It's a funny thing, eh? Like it's a weird artist's burden.
Yeah, like you can see 100 good comments, but one negative comment feels like 1,000 negative comments.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, man. I don't know. There's no solution to it.
Yeah.
My new thing is I just try and focus on the positive, and I'm trying to do more just like positive. I started doing more things on Twitter where I just promote songs I like.
Okay.
Here's a song I like, by a band. This is good. And that's kind of what my social media output is going to be, is just here's a thing like that you'll like, and that's it really. I
mean, the ideal situation would just not to even read comments.
I know,
just
man.
Be like, posts, and like Joe Rogan says, he just posts and he just cheers. Doesn't even look. And also, people contradict each other like in the comments, because then you get like, not contradict, but like you'll get one comment that'll be like, why don't you smile more in your videos? And then you'll smile more, and the next day it'll be like, you're smiling too much.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't know what must I do? I don't know what to do. One person says do this, one person says do that, and just like, that's why you're just gonna be like, oh, whatever, just be you and just do whatever, man.
Yeah. Well, that's a lovely sentiment to end on. Just be yourself.
Be yourself.
Yeah. So listen, it was lovely to chat with you and get to know you.
That was awesome.
I hope you have a lovely. What time is it there now?
It's now nearly 3 a.m. I might make some dinner. And watch Surf Ninjas.
Yeah, well, listen, it was, I hope that's good.
Nah, it's all good.
And we, of course, look forward to the new album.
Cool.
And there'll be new songs for people to listen to. And if people aren't already, they can find Dreamkid on all the social medias.
All the handles are Dreamkid83.
Lucky guy, all my handles are different. They're all, one's a Beyond _Synths and a Beyond Synth podcast. It's I fucked up.
No, that was one thing I wanted to do. I was just like, I need to make all the handles the same. Even if I can get just Dreamkid on another platform, I'll just make it Dreamkid83, because it's just gonna be confusing. Anyways, will you have? Do I even say have a good night if it's 3 a.m? Yeah, I suppose I got 2 hours left, maybe, of nap time. Do you have any final words before I hang up on you? Aliens are going to be here any minute. In the next year, we're going to see aliens. Sweet. That's my final words. I hope they appreciate the work of Dreamkid. I think they'll be friendly. I think they'll be quite friendly. I hope so, because the alternative is really bad if they're not. Yeah, they'll really suck. We will all die. Yes. And that is a wonderful sentiment to end on. Cool, thanks, man. Take care, dude. Cheers, dude. All right, and that was my conversation with Dreamkid. I hope you enjoyed the show. Tune in next time to Beyond Synth Radio. We got lots of fun shows. Just a few weeks ago, we started doing another one called My Favorite Game, where I have
former guests of the show come back and we talk about their favorite video games. Of course, Marco and I have been watching terrible B movies and playing cool tunes, and we're probably going to record a new roundtable very soon. So if that's not next week's episode, it'll be the week after, so we can catch up with Michael Oakley and Florence and Marco, and that's all I have to say. So thanks for listening to the show. If you want to support Beyond Synth, you can go to patreon.com/BeyondSynth, or there's also a PayPal link as well. If you go to BeyondSynth.com, you can find all the links there, so it's all good. So listen, have a lovely day, keep on being cool, thanks for listening, and I will talk to you next time on Beyond Synth, the best synthwave chat show there is.
Beyond Synth Radio is produced by Andy Last. Check the show notes for more information on the musicians featured on the show. Beyond Synth is made possible by listeners like you. Consider supporting Beyond Synth at patreon.com/BeyondSynth. Thanks for listening.